Alrighty. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to Liquid Agent Spaces number 8. How you feeling today, Chris?
Feeling good. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing great, doing great. Super excited for what we have for Q1 of 2026 and for community members. So let's go ahead and get it started. Again, thank you so much for everyone tuning in into our X Spaces number 8. And we definitely have a lot to talk about, and we're super excited. So, on our last spaces that we had when we came back from Uganda, we updated you guys on what we did out there doing the Makerere University, educating, letting people know that, hey, you don't need to just be a consumer, but a producer on this wonderful technology called blockchain. And with that, we got a lot of feedback, created what we did, and I just want to harp on again the 2026 roadmap. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And again, this is on the Medium article. We can kind of go over that and then go ahead and continue on. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to do this one right here. Can you see my screen, Chris?
Yes, I can see it.
Beautiful. So let's go and scroll down, guys. So for those who don't remember, again, we have posted this. This was more of a alpha recap of our last X Spaces, going over everything we talked about. Again, we will do another recap of today's live stream, so no worries if you can't make it. But let's go ahead and scroll down all the way to roadmap. So as we transition to 2026 and our Q1 roadmap, what is the ethos and what we're trying to do? So again, our, our approach moving forward to 2026 with what's going on. Don't make this stream too political, but as everyone is aware, or if not aware, unfortunately, there's a lot of political things happening with the Venezuela. High inflation, gold prices going up, silver prices going up. So having regulatory clarity before we officially launch on what we're doing. Also have the utility needed for the Liquid and SoonPay ecosystem, and then the seamless integration with Save, Earn, and the SIM flows of the Liquid agent UI UX. And of course, education. Going out there to Uganda and even here in the States, when we do go out to Washington, D.C., you need to be educated, on everything that's what's going to be going on. We are now starting to see regulatory businesses, companies now integrating the technology. That's beautiful and wonderful, but education is definitely still needed, knowing the difference between decentralization, non-decentralization, non-custodial wallets, custodial, and things like that. And that's what Liquid Agent's trying to do in the forefront of being that bridge and that gap of infrastructure, education, and then the financial send, save, and earn ecosystem. We're also going to be talking about our 2025 roadmap as well too. But it's now Q1 2026. So what is the plan for Q1? What are Chris and I going to be spearheading for the next 3 months up until March? Again, public rollout of the unified Liquid Agent platform of what we're doing. We're always looking for feedback and always iterating and increasing the user input through UI UX and just making things more simple. Also, education, as we talked about before. We did do the hackathon, as you guys know. We have been doing it every Tuesday. You're probably wondering what happened last stream. Currently, there's election time happening in Uganda, and because of that, which we were unaware of, their internet's going down. So that will be delayed. So we'll be having that stream next Tuesday. And with that, we're doing the hackathon and talking to the students comes with internships and placement pilots. That's Q1. And of course, the SoonPay stuff and waiting for the app to go live. Q2. All right, what's the ethos of Q2? So once the liquidation app has been more matured, integrated, doing with our different partners, whether that's through universities, whether that's through different apps or different ecosystems in DeFi or even in Web2, we want to expand what we're doing, the automation flows of liquidation, whether that's through a CLI, an S2K, just making it very easy for people to integrate what we've built to make it super seamless and super easy. For those who didn't see Chris's last post, which is amazing, our circle was very impressed with the schedule sending. A lot of the things that we're doing and building here at Liquid Agent, we want to be at the forefront, but also being very innovative on what we're doing. It's always good to have first move advantages. as well as stablecoin yield products. Again, funny enough, Chris and I were actually just talking before the stream, talking about regular currency, but we'll go into that as time progresses. And then again, validated participation, pathways for emerging markets. AI is booming right now, and the prices of RAM and storage is going up astronomically to the point where, yes, when you are being a validator or running, the infrastructure, that's important because you're helping secure the network and you're incentivized by getting the tokens as compensation. But with the high prices of increases of these said products, your infrastructure is an asset too. So that's one thing to also look for. There's multiple ways to do this. You can go the cloud route, you can go the physical route, and we provide both. So don't forget that. And then again, just spanning out our institutional with through university partners. What could Q3 look for? And again, just letting you guys know, this is just a template of the current roadmap that we have. This definitely could be changing, but we'll communicate all of this with you, with our communities. Q3 2026. So what does Q3 look like? Again, scaling the product network, having the cross-border remittance, make sure everything's optimized, again, with everything happening overseas, international with election time, everything's going here. We want to make sure that we are in front of the flows of what's happening right now. With all this regulation with stable coins and then the financial rails and everything that's happening. Again, more embedded with our agent experience and then regional expansion, not just here in the US and not just in Uganda, but just everywhere. Just had a nice little phone call. So got some awesome news for you guys. Can't talk about it just yet. Chris and I definitely don't like talking about stuff that isn't solidified yet, but just know we are definitely making moves and making strides. And then again, building focus funnels, incentives, and toolings, which you guys are going to like what we have for you for the end of the stream. And then last but not least, Q4 2026, global infrastructure, right? Multi-regional educational hubs, again, deeper institutional partnerships, scaled in validated infrastructure and yield participation. And at the end of the day, a fully realized producer stacked economy. Again, the whole ethos of what we're doing, guys, is not to be a producer. I'm sorry, not to be a consumer, but a producer. With utilizing our tool, we want to make it feel like you are utilizing an app that's super simple and super easy, but you're being a producer, not just a consumer. And then wrap it all up. What does this all mean? Liquid Agent itself is not just building another decentralized crypto app. We are building, again, financial infrastructure, educational pathways, economic access, and ownership at scale. We showed that when we first went to Uganda. We're going to be going to other continents out in Africa, other continents out in South America, Asia, you name it. Again, it starts here, and we're going to be spreading everywhere. And we're just super excited to just reach the global diaspora and beyond and be able to have people know the name Liquid Agent, getting familiar with the logo, and know save, earn, and send. Your money made simple. So that's kind of a brief overview currently right now of the actual roadmap of what we got for 2026. Again, guys, this is a rolling roadmap, meaning things could change, but we do have a plan for what we're doing for everything that we have with Liquid Agent. But without further ado, I'll have Chris kind of give you guys some updates of not just what's happening with Circle, but just kind of like our day to day. Because again, we're super, super busy, but that doesn't stop us from doing live streams like this and talking with you guys on X and Telegram. So, Chris, go ahead and take it away, brother.
Yeah. So, you know, I suppose we'll start with Circle. You know, I Liquid Agent is partners with Circle via their partnership program, and I always go in to report on what Liquid Agent has been doing, just giving updates. And I ended up talking about the scheduled sending features. And one of the individuals that work at Circle was really interested in the feature, but they wanted to see if I could expand on it. Instead of just scheduling, let's say I want to send Van 10 USDC in 4 hours. She wanted to see if it could be expanded to where it could be reoccurring. And so I'm like, yeah, of course, we can make that happen. So same day, ended up building that out. And so Liquid Agent now has a reoccurring scheduled send feature where you're able to send money at a scheduled basis. And this works. This is a powerful feature because it now introduces escrow. It introduces payroll. And so what I can do is I can actually share my screen real quick.
Ready? Let me get that up real quick. Okay, and we can see the screen.
Nice. So, Van and I, we, consistently put in a lot of work to restructure the Liquid Agent, front end application to make it super seamless and easy for individuals to use. I'm currently in my account, and you can see the Liquid Agent price. And if I click on it, I can actually make direct purchases of the token. I could swap between Liquid and ETH by just simply clicking here. And so then the first thing you see on the dashboard is the scheduled payments feature. What I can do is I could click on, let's say, Navier's wallet, and then let's say I want to do USDC, and let's schedule um, let's schedule 2 cents, and then let's actually make a reoccurring payment. We'll do one um, as a test every 2 minutes, and we'll do it, let's say, 5 times. So now, or yeah, 5 times, not three. So now I click schedule, and then I'm going to confirm it. And what's going to happen is you're going to go into streams, and as time goes through, we'll see these payments follow through. We can look at the reoccurring history of some of the previous runs I've done before, where it shows you in one full swoop how many you bundled together. So I did 3 payments of 5 cents each to a specific wallet, and I have the transaction hash and history. So I can actually click on it and actually see that the payments did go through for each individual time. And, while this is going through with its stream, we can continue discussing about Liquid Agent and the things that have been updated. And so, before we had a landing page, and then we had, I think, a documentation page, and then I think we had an application page. The problem with that is just the user retention. Getting people to actually stay and go to different pages can be exhausting. So we wanted to unify Liquid Agent to make it as simple and seamless as possible for users to be able to just simply go to one page. They're able to go to the documentation, and then they're able to just go from there. You see one payment just went through, mind you. Um, so we ended up just unifying the page. Now, when we were in Uganda, we did work on Liquid's front end application, but it was just it still was way too hard to understand. So on Sunday, I spent the whole day reorganizing the application, making it as seamless as possible. And we'll go to each section. So essentially, if I go to new again, this piece is really cool because with one button, essentially, I just click schedule payments like I did before, and then my wallet pops up, and then my assets are sent to my agent or automated wallet to then be able to do the scheduled payments. But if I do the scheduled payments from my agent wallet directly, then it'll automatically go through. We can actually test this out. So if I was to schedule to, let's say, agent fee, and then I do USDC, and then let's say I did 5 cents, and then we did a reoccurring payment. We do another 2, and then this time we just do 3 times. If I were to do it, I schedule, and boom, it's just one click. That's it. So when you use the you or your wallet that you're connected to on the platform, it's 2 buttons in total. When you use the agent wallet, it's 1 button. And so while those go through, we'll go to the next section. So now you have your lending. And lending, currently I'm using it. You see your earnings, you see your balance, you see the APY, and then you can see each day basically your amounts that you've been earning. You have your deposit and your withdrawal. And then the same thing can be applied, excuse me, the same thing can be applied to here. If you use your wallet, then you have to deposit and then click basically a submit button to then send your funds to your automated wallet, and then it'll actually make the deposit. But if you were to use your agent wallet, then it'll just automatically make the deposit. And the cool thing is when you use the agent wallet, it's gas free, supplied by us. So you don't have to worry about gas. We can go to the next staking section or next section. And this is the Liquid Validator Network. Now, since I don't have enough Liquid right now, I can basically go to the documentation real quick, and I can explain the architecture of the LVN system. So Liquid Validator Network, essentially what it is we aggregate yield from different validators and delegators from different blockchains. That yield is converted simply into USDC, and then it has to be burned and then minted on Base, because our platform is using between Ethereum and Base. And so we simply take all the yield and convert it into USDC on one chain. And then it is using Circle's cross-chain transfer protocol function to then be able to make that burn and mint. And then from there, everything is averaged out using TWP, time-weighted basically system, to make sure that everyone's earning their yield in a proper and appropriate manner. And then from there, everybody is earning yield from there. And so we'll go back to the dashboard and we'll go to Insights, which is the last section. Now, Insights is essentially what we had before. Let me refresh the page. Let me see. Essentially, it allows for a person to be able to, of course, see the price of a particular asset right now on Liquid and Ethereum, either layer 1 or on Base. And what we can do actually is we can test this out. When you click on, let's say, Base, and then you analyze a wallet, mind you, you can analyze any wallet you want to. We'll use mine for an example. You simply click Analyze, and when it's analyzing, it's going through every single time you've made a purchase or every time you've made a sell within your wallet. From there, you would end up receiving a PDF in which you can print out to then be able to see basically everything you've done. The use case with this is, again, we're focused on compliance. We focus on, taxes. We focus on, things of that nature. So we want to make sure that, of course, that our users are compliant. And so with that, I can simply download a PDF, and then I can get my analysis. And basically from there, it shows me everything that I've done. Now, one of the things that, speaking of compliance, and I want to go back to the dashboard real quick to see how the streams are doing. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Both of them are going through. Um, so, one of the community members mentioned something very important about compliance, and that is related to the market structure bill that might be passed tomorrow. And so, one of the things that I, wanted to do, I did some research on, was just simply looking at how liquid and liquid agent would be compliant with how everything would be structured if this passes. And so the and we can read through them together. Um, so the first thing, the new bipartisan crypto market structure, it establishes a clear regulatory framework. It tries to protect the core functionality of liquid agent itself. um, we'll start with the first one, self custody rights, Section 105C. The bill states that a United States individual shall retain the right to maintain a hardware wallet or software wallet for the purpose of facilitating their own lawful custody of digital assets. Liquid Agent is built entirely on self custody principles. Users can control their own keys, through Privy's non-custodial embedded wallets or their own external wallets like MetaMask or Rabi Wallet. Our agent wallets are server-side wallets, and users have control of these wallets. No one else has control of their own, basically their server-side wallet. So Liquid's protected in that regards. Peer-to-peer transaction rights, Section 105C again. The bill guarantees the right to engage direct or peer-to-peer transitions or transactions with other individuals using self-custody wallets without reliance on financial intermediaries. Liquid Schedule Send and recurring payments feature is pure P2P. Users schedule payments from their wallet. The agent wallet executes on a scheduled time and funds go directly to the recipient's wallet. No intermediary holds funds at the any point of the process. So Liquid is fully protected under that regards. Wallet developer protection, Section 109. The bill prohibits classifying non-controlling blockchain developers or providers of hardware or software to facilitate a customer's own custody as money transmitters. So with that, Liquid Agent is explicit for this type of infrastructure. We provide hardware interface for users to manage their own wallets and transaction tools to help users. And then at the end of the day, with Liquid Agent, we're not a money transmitter, custodial, or financial intermediary. So we're protected under that regards. The DeFi include exclusions. The bill states that a person shall not subject to the Securities Exchange Act solely for activities like developing or publishing DeFi trading protocols, providing user interfaces, front ends for blockchain systems, or validating transactions on operating nodes. This is huge for Liquid. Base USDC yield features connect to Moonwell. We use this a decentralized lending protocol on Base. We're simply a user interface. For that, Moonwell is the smart contract infrastructure for that. So we don't operate the lending pool. We don't custody funds, and we don't set the interest rates. We just provide the interface. So Liquid is fully protected under that regard. Number 5, the staking services clarification. The bill defines custodial and basically this overall staking services as the administrative in nature, requiring asset segregation and allowing pool customers funds. LVN network in itself is self-custody staking, is not custodial staking. The key difference, the custodial staking like Coinbase users deposit to the platform. The platform holds and stakes, then distribute rewards. With Liquid Agent, users stake tokens that remain in their own wallet. So that's another powerful feature that I added into LVN. With LVN, you keep your funds you keep Liquid in your wallet. Everything about Liquid Agent is about automation, making things simple and easy for users. So with that, Liquid is protected under that regards. Stablecoin yield clarification. This one's a pretty big one because, of course, we have lending as a service. The bill eliminates passive yield for stablecoin, but this referred to stablecoin issuers paying yield directly on their stablecoin, like Circle paying interest on USDC holdings. Now, so that really doesn't affect us either because, again, our yield comes from DeFi, not stablecoin issuers. When users deposit USDC through our base yield feature, they're depositing into, again, Moonwell's lending protocol. So with that being said, since it is DeFi and a user simply clicks a button to actually be able to participate, they're not earning yield off of their USDC directly into their wallet. So Liquid is pretty protected and safe under that regards. Number 7, the last one, the bill requires exchanges and brokers to comply with the Bank Secrecy Act, perform KYC, and monitor for illicit finance. Again, Liquid, we use Privy for authentication. That's one of our tech stacks. People can log in with their email. They can log in with their wallet. Actions are on chain and auditable. And, again, we're not an exchange or a broker. We focus on DeFi automation and, of course, node infrastructure. So ultimately, Liquid was built day one to be with all of these, safe haven approaches. Van and I sat down to really think about how we wanted to create Liquid Agent. I know that when we first started, people have to remember that Liquid Agent essentially started as a mere tool for both Van and I to just automate things within our systems, our protocols, overall, everything that we do. So at the end of the day, the Bill's framework validates our approach completely, and Liquid Agent would be compliant in every regards to however this bill is structured, if it's passed or not passed tomorrow. And so, ultimately, I'm really excited. Ultimately, that's just me being biased. But, with that being said, Liquid Agent is meant to be a safe haven from day one. Again, being able to help people automate tasks, being able to help people to use the platform as if they never were in crypto before. And so that's the whole premise of Liquid Agent. And so with that being said, what I'll do is I want to actually real quick go to the recurring history. And again, you can see these two are finally finished. Here's the one that ended up doing 5, and you can see the 5 different transactions. And then here's the one that ended up doing 3 different transactions for the 5 cents. And so the reoccurring system works. Again, it's for payroll or just being able to schedule payments. The next feature that I definitely want to speak upon is Navier. Now, Navier is essentially a conditional settlement platform. Conditional settlement, simply put, you may have heard of them from prediction markets. That's essentially what they are. What Navier allows users to do is they're able to use the platform's prediction markets or their markets itself, or users, if they want to, can create their own markets. Again, the whole premise of what Liquid Agent is all about is decentralization, being able to allow for individuals to decide if they want to participate within the realms of the company, us, or if they want to be able to be a producer themselves. So we allow for individuals to create their own markets. They earn 1.5% of all of the volume within their specific market, and then they have their their own dashboard. Let me connect to my dashboard real quick. Okay, so I ended up creating a market. Basically, will Atlanta temperature be below 45 degrees? I get a percentage of the earnings. Um, and then there's a referral system. So essentially, individuals are able to earn 0.1% of every trade that um, someone that they referred receives or does. So every time they trade, every time they, essentially select yes or no, then they're able to do their trade, and then you're making revenue from that. Um, Now, this again is in beta. We plan on adding more different markets or different sections. Um, and so, with that, just starting off right now, we have crypto prices: Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP. And then for weather, we have different cities: New York, Chicago, Seattle, Atlanta, Tokyo. It's as simple as being able to just simply click, let's say, weather. You want to do Los Angeles, and let's say that you wanted individuals to, um, you know, speculate on, let's say, temperature. Um, let's say I say the temperature is going to be above 76, by tomorrow at 3:30 p.m., right? And so then from there, you simply have to seed your market. So you have to seed it with the initial liquidity to start it. And then once you create it, you simply share it with your community. Um, Liquid Agent community can participate. Anyone can participate. And so the whole premise of it all is allowing for individuals to be able to decide if they want to use the platform or create their own. Um, and so right now, again, Navier is in beta. There will be more markets and more use cases, because conditional settlement doesn't just stop at prediction markets. There are plenty of other use cases with Navier that we're actively exploring. The last thing I want to discuss is the community sentiment around um, the tokenomics of Liquid Agent. Since Liquid Agent's inception, which is June 10th of 2025, Liquid Agent, the tokenomics itself has always started around the tax structure, 5-5, 5% on 5% tax on buys and 5% tax on sells. Now, of course, while that helped us to be able to at least get to the point where we are now, to be able to build and get Liquid Agent off the ground, we have been listening to the community. We have been thinking about different ways to explore what we can do. I know some community members mentioned to lower the tax to 0.0. And yes, that will be done eventually. We know the importance of being able to get on a centralized exchange. Um, in the future, don't know when, but in the future is key, is necessary for growth when it comes to an asset. More eyes, more liquidity. It always is good to have that. So we will eventually lower it to 0.0. But for right now, what we plan on doing is, again, Van and I, we focus around decentralization. We focus on building around what we have and the tools that we have, but we want it to be a community effort. So with that being said, and I hope you can see this. Can you see this, Van?
It's on the stream right now. I have it up.
Perfect. So with that being said, we proposed a new tax structure and new tokenomics for Liquid, the token. Currently, what we'll do is we're going to keep it at 5.5 tax. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a new staking system where 75% of the total tax will go to the community stakers of Liquid. The minimum, which can be adjusted, but for right now, that number will be at 150,000 Liquid. 150,000 Liquid, and you get a portion of the tax. It'll be essentially a drip feature where you stake your Liquid and then you're getting Liquid dripped into your basically not into your wallet, but basically just it's stored, of course, in the smart contract. But you're able to, one, withdraw anytime. You can deposit anytime. We don't, we want to make it as open and as free as you as need be. But the overall tax, majority of it will go back to the community. Again, Van and I are determined to make Liquid and Liquid Agent as decentralized as possible. And we believe that the tax structure should also be decentralized. Of course, 10% will still go to Treasury. And the growth in the marketing, that'll still stay at 15%. These numbers, again, will be, can be adjusted a little bit, but we're going to make sure that this number stays, at least for the 5.5 itself. The community, out of the community is 75, but behind the scenes, it'll be 70% to the community. 5% will go every week to be split up into a separate pool inside of the same smart contract to burn Liquid. So every week, while communities or the community itself is earning, there is burning behind it as well. Now, the 5% can always be lowered, but it can never be increased. So let's say the community decides, which we're still actively exploring the DAO structure on this, but let's say that the community decides that maybe it should be 77 and 3% burn. Well, that can happen. So whatever happens with the burn side, as far as the 5%, that number will still, that number can always decrease. And then whatever is decreased will go back to the community. Now, again, the Treasury and growth and marketing, because we're still actively building Liquid Agent and, doing what we need to do with that. Those numbers will more than likely stay the same. The goal is to have this starting tomorrow. We're going to make it to where individuals will be able to simply go onto the platform and then simply be able to stake their Liquid, and then they're earning directly from the Ethereum that is essentially coming from the tax itself. The next thing and the last thing is the Liquid licenses. The Liquid licenses were a concept that we had introduced in the Liquid Validator Network. Individuals would purchase the license, and then they would get a multiplier on the amount of rewards, the amount of USDC on base that they will earn. We've decided to continue with the Liquid licenses and expand that into this new structure. So individuals can come in with the 150,000 Liquid and stake it if they want to. But with the license, one would receive a multiplier on the rewards earned or the Ethereum earned. You also would not have to be barred from the 150,000 minimum for participation. So if you came in with, let's say, 50,000 liquid, and you have your license, or yeah, the license, which would be an NFT, then you would still be able to participate in this system. And so that too will also be starting tomorrow. These licenses will also be used for the Liquid Validator Network, which we plan to continue going with that as well. And how I see it, just for the longevity, is as Liquid expands and Liquid grows, of course, the tax will be reduced over time. The flow of everything would still be that one to one. Like, for example, if over time Liquid increases in price, there's more volume, the tax goes down to 1%, 1%, then this, of course, would still continue. But then by that point, Liquid Validator Network would be much more mature for more participants, of course. But just to reiterate, you simply have your liquid, you stake it, and you earn a portion of the tax. And so we want to decentralize the tax. And so we decided that the community will have the position of owning 75% of the total tax starting tomorrow.
Beautiful. Well said, Chris. And again, guys, Chris said it all. We're here to decentralize. We're here to keep building it, but we also want to get back to the community. And with that, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for everyone for listening. We definitely will have a debrief. There's one other thing that we need to touch on. Chris, I'm not sure if we want to discuss this or wait for that. In terms of the roadmap, or should we keep that for another spaces?
As far as what though? What was it about?
Number 9.
Yeah, that was that was number 9. Number 9 ultimately was exploring the ways to be able to decentralize basically the tax exploration, being able to give the, again, decentralize not just the platform but the token itself, and that's ultimately the goal. This actually was what I had talked about, was liquid gold. That was essentially the core concept of it all. But I do think that this is much better. Let me see. I know some questions. All right. I saw one. What about SoonPay? You want to discuss on that?
Yeah, so we could definitely talk about SoonPay. So yeah, we actively have meetings and calls. Last stream, what we were saying before, that we had a call with the team. Everything seemed to be so good so far. Again, we're also all about regulatory and compliance. The last piece of the puzzle finally has been finalized. It has been testing. Fingers crossed that the app will be live tomorrow. The same time we'll be doing the tax restructuring. So that's everything with SoonPay. Our partner, again, SoonPay, for those who are unaware, SoonPay essentially is a remittance platform where you can send and receive money. But it's not just about sending and receiving money. It echoes the same ethos Chris and I, as being a producer or a consumer, and actually trying to educate and your money made simple. For SoonPay, it's your money made simple, but on top of that is saving with a purpose. So the beautiful thing with SoonPay, whenever you're sending and receiving money and you make an account with them, because of the partnership with the NSSF, the National Social Security Fund, you're automatically going to be getting an account created with them. And a small portion of the fees, funny enough, the same thing we're doing, goes to your savings accounts. Every time you're sending, receiving money, you now have through the Social Security, and then with the other partners that we have, and as this expands, again, this is part of the roadmap. Health insurance, loans, all this other stuff. So we're now it's like, okay, yes, I'm spending money, but it's not just the company itself. Just I don't want to say extracting, but not really giving back to people. Soon paying us, we're all about giving back. So the app itself, you can download on Android. Again, it's not 100% complete yet. Once it is, everything's good to go. We should have it out in the App Store later today or tomorrow. And if so, people can download it on Apple or Android, download it, and go from there. We're still in talks of doing the final button ups with the liquid indication, still in discussion with talking government officials and doing stable coins. Again, we already have the Circle partnership with the stable coin related stuff, but all that's still in the wraps, guys. Again, Chris and I are focused on what we're doing, which is infrastructure, education, and for the most part, specifically with liquidation, is AI and DeFi automation. And we are partnered with SoonPay. We want you guys to remember that we don't directly work with them. We are partnered with them. We come together to where they come in from the Web 2 side doing the advertisement there. We're coming from the Web 3 side to do the education from there and having a beautiful, cohesive partnership. And hopefully for some good news tomorrow, we'll definitely let you guys know on that. The call that we had recently was specifically about marketing and branding and pushing out the word. Because again, once the app is live, gotta let people know. When we went to New Orleans conference back in August last year, time flies. We already had people ready to download the app and everything. We just want to make sure it had product market fit, which it did. We have a whole list of people ready to go, email blasting all the students, all the universities, all the government officials. So once it's live, it's going to be great. And again, that's just going to bring more eyes to Liquid, because Liquid itself is going to be embedded into the app, which again is that flywheel mechanism that we've been talking about this entire time. So 2026 is looking great. It's looking bright. Super excited for that. But those are the updates that we have currently for SoonPay. Of course, when it comes to businesses, things do happen. But January 15th, 2026 is when it's looking like the app will be live in the App Store. And see some people. Vaughn, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Jack Hunter, thanks for tuning in. Comrade, what's up? Zach, hey, how you doing? And yeah, I'm glad you guys like the new burn implementation there. That's great. Again, just give it back to the people for the taxes, as well as a small portion of that being burned. Again, getting that flywheel kicking and reigniting.
Where you see that at? I don't see it.
Oh,
Oh.
Okay, yeah. I'm on like the restream. Like if you click the chat, you can see what people are coming from on the X side of the YouTube side. Vaughn just said, actually, I think I can bring that up on the chat. Boom. Circle partnership, Coinbase partnership, Super partnership, Ugandan pension partnership. Yeah, man, very bullish. Again, it's funny. Chris and I, we actually just had a recent call with our advisor and mentor, and the market itself, in terms of the crypto side, is just so different than what it was, since a few years ago, DeFi Summit and all that. With everything going on, again, not trying to be political, but a lot of stuff with the oil and the inflation and all this stuff going on. There's a lot, and the lack of liquidity in crypto. A lot's going on, but again, Chris and I, we built our company in the bear market. We've kept building, no matter when things are high, things are low. Always going on stages, always going inside out of the country, always educating. Regardless when things are up or things are down, we appreciate everyone who sticks with us. Because again, for those who've only been with us for a short amount of time, again, we're still here. We're not going anywhere. We're here to build, we're here to educate, and we're here to make a difference. And in order to do that, it takes time. And you have to have patience. But we're here for a long time. We're super excited for everything what's to come. We're super excited to kick off 2026 very hard. The new implementation with the taxes, hopefully for having SoonPay out and live so people can download and use it, and start traveling more to different continents, whether that's Africa, South America, Asia, wherever, going to some crypto conferences to meet some of you guys. I believe the Uganda convention this year is actually in Denver, Colorado. I think that's also in August. I'm not too sure. but we will be going to that as well too. But it's also again just expanding to different universities out of the country, but also in the country here in the states. Talking to universities to see if they're interested in what we're doing. Whether that's through Georgia State, Georgia Tech, Emory, or even universities outside of the state. But those are the updates that we currently have for on the student pay side.
Uh, any revenue projections just from SoonPay, and how would it impact Liquid?
Again, that's all on SoonPay. That's all the remittance side. We've discussed with Richard Kimsey the potential revenue that could come out of it. Again, when it comes to that, when you have a mobile phone, an app, and you see the crypto side, that's going directly to us. And again, we just talked about the circle. We just talked about payroll. We talked about the automated system. So more eyes on Liquid, the more people utilizing, especially having the SoonPay app, it embeds us into it to make it a mobile app to again give you guys that flywheel. 75% of the tax is going to you guys. So again, that's how that revenue will be made with Web2 users who are either not in crypto or in crypto, now utilizing crypto, and the crypto they're using is the Liquid platform. But again, thank each and every one of you for joining our live stream today. We're super grateful and super honored to have such an amazing community. For those who are still with us, and even if you guys are gone, we're still going to be here. Not sure when our next stream is going to be. We will definitely try our best to have at least one a month. Cannot make any promises, but again, just remember, guys, we are always building. We're always cooking, and we're always in the background getting partnerships, coming up with new ideas. And again, not trying to spread ourselves too thin. We're just sharpening that blade, making Liquid Agent as sharp, as powerful, and as simple as possible. Making sure that we stay abreast of what's going on in our education. Still going to ABCD OTCs, looking at what's happening on when it comes to laws and regulations, because that directly affects what we're doing as a company. When Chris and I were building our company 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, 2.5 years, 3 years ago, there really were no laws and regulations. And crypto, if you said that word, it was almost taboo. But now as time progressed, we knew in the time where this time would be coming. That time is now. We kept building. So yeah. See another comment. Any revenue projections just from SoonPay, and how will it impact Liquid? Okay, I think that was.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I just see you said it on X. I just answered that question. Sanic, hopefully you did hear that. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. In terms of next things, again, the implementation of the new tax system. With that should bring in more eyes to build it, to buy Liquid. Definitely, we're gonna have an alpha debrief, talk to some people, and let them know, like, hey, buy and sell. 75% goes back to community, and a small percentage that will be burned. So again, that's another tactic to definitely help, especially with the market potentially heating up. You can never guess with the market volatility nowadays. Let's see. Yeah, see, I was just green, now it's down, but we're super optimistic. Super excited for everything that was to come. And again, thank you guys so much for joining our call. We will talk to you some other time. And Chris, now we should. Just to let you guys know, the call on Tuesday we're gonna have with the students it's not gonna be that long. This is more or less like making sure that their products are good to go. It was delayed a week. It didn't happen Tuesday just due to the election that's happening in Uganda. When election time happens, apparently they cut down the internet, which is grateful to be in America. But as time progresses, that's definitely one thing that Chris can potentially change. Again, that's more on the political side. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will talk to you next time.